What's up, guys? This is Sacrosanct, Tyler, Prodigy of Sin, Qual of Passion, Styx. Man of many names. But today, I am bringing you a very special episode because we are going to learn the magic of Photoshop. Yes, this. What I'm going to teach you today is how to do a signature. Yeah, signatures have a bad rep where it's someone taking a cartoon render, smudging it around, and then slapping it in the middle and calling it good. I'm not going to teach you that shit because it sucks. So, what I am going to teach you is this little thing here. Yes, I'm going to teach you this. What you'll notice is that I actually use a real person. I know, it's very fancy. And create my own background. That's a lie. I just use a brick pattern. But I did modify it. And then add a little brush work, throw my name. Good to go. So I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm also going to walk you through all the good shit that comes with it. So to start things off, I want to show you my resources that I use. So DeviantArt, it's a fucking bomb place to get resources, and I'm going to show you where. So we are going to go to the resource and stock images section, and first I want to show you stock images. So this is where you're going to choose your focal point. So you got a lot of shit here. Each one of them has like their own stipulation where, okay, you can't use it outside of DeviantArt, or you have to contact them, or just link them. Don't be an asshole. Give them credit for what you do. Unfortunately, I can't remember who I took mine from, so sorry about that. I'm already breaking my own rule. But yeah, it's not mine. So yeah, just loosely follow them. I mean, no one's gonna hunt you down if you don't follow the rules. Let's be honest here. But yeah, so this is a good place to get your focal point, your render, whatever you want to call it. And then here, let me find it. You go in the application resources tab. You've got like all the good Photoshop shit. So you got patterns, shapes, brushes. This is a really good section. Lots of awesome brushes. Yeah, I'll let you explore that on your own. Other place I go, Brush Easy. Pretty sweet little resource. It's a little bit faster than DeviantArt. I kind of do this like on the fly. They've got a good selection of brushes, all that good stuff. What else? We got Planet Renders. Pretty straightforward. You actually have to sign up for an account to use this, but it's free, so you know it doesn't matter. But these are pre-cut out images if you're too lazy to do it on your own. These are also good for pulling your own color scheme, or let's see, what else? They're more dynamic, like you've got characters doing shit like this. It's easier to like weave a brush through them, give it more depth, all that stuff. But that's a little more advanced. Let's see. So the final thing I want to show you is defont.com. And these other sites don't really have fonts, I know. DeviantArt might, actually. Not entirely sure. But yeah, so come here for your fonts. They got a shit ton, and it's a good site. I know there's a few other free ones, but you know, that's my choice. All right, so getting started here, we're gonna create a new image. Do 800, by 300 pixels, and you want a transparent background. So go ahead and open that. You'll notice it is massive. This is a good thing, though. You want to start big and then scale down. That way you can work in as much detail as you want. And then you just make it whatever size you need for your form. Because obviously you don't want this in like your signature. That's way too big. Alright, so we're going to start off by choosing our image. And I chose this one. It's a little tongue action. Oh, yeah. So, as you can see here, shows to have it kind of doing this, you know, so that's kind of cool. Just think, how are you going to incorporate that? Don't make it just like a picture that's just sitting there, you know, make it doing something. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and render this, cut it out, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to do a very good job of it, as you will see right here. So notice how there's all this shit down here. You don't see that part. So we're going to go ahead and go Control A, select everything, puts the little dancing ant things around it, and then you copy with Control C, then you come to your sig and put it in. Well, God, that is huge. So you're going to hit Control T, go into the transformation options. Then you're going to zoom out a little bit. Start scaling it down and moving it up into your signature. Okay. And don't be afraid to go big on your focal point, because this is a focal point. You want it to be pretty big in the signature. So try to have it fill up at least half the signature like I have here. And another thing, don't put in the middle like that. That's stupid. And I will tell you why. It's, with art, there's a little thing called rule of thirds. So basically, divide your image in thirds each way. You want the point either in one of these cross sections, one of these cross sections, this one, and this one. And what that does is it gives the image a little more interest. Just, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. You want your shit to look good. This is an easy way to do it. It's just a real simple rule of thumb. Now here, you can see I'm scaling it down just a little bit more. I want to show this jawline and everything. You want to keep in mind that people don't know what the original image is. So were I to have it like this, well, now she just looks like a fast. You could have like 3 chins below that, and it's a little unattractive. So we're going to go ahead and move it right there, confirm the selection by pressing enter, and now we're going to zoom back in. Okay, so we have got our image where we want it, and we are going to now duplicate this layer. Okay, and then we're going to filter, and Gaussian blur, where are you? Okay, Gaussian blur. Set this between like 0.5 and 1 pixels right here. I went ahead and went with 1. Okay, you do that, and you'll notice it's just very lightly blurred from the last one. And we're going to set this to overlay. Now what you notice is that it sharpens all these colors in here, kind of flattens the image out, gives you a little more liberty with the lighting, which is good because with real people, lighting is very sensitive in the picture. So that's going to be one thing we focus very heavily on. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to just kind of tone it down a little bit so it doesn't quite flatten the image so much. So you see here, we still got the enhanced colors, but now we can see like, okay, we've got the line of her cheek and all that good stuff. So we still got some shadows, still got some depth to it. And then we are going to, let's throw in the background. Okay, so what I chose for this one was this little brick wall background. I would recommend choosing something that's actually real. Don't fabricate your own, because when you're using a real person, it's really sensitive what you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and select all and copy it, and then paste it in. Okay, and drop it down there. And then we need to scale it a little bit, because if you leave it at that current scale, you have to realize that it does impact the depth of field. I mean, like the depth of the render. If that makes any sense at all. It makes sense to me. Yeah. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and move that in. You'll notice I got it just about as small as I could there. And this puts her like in a good position relative to the background, is what I feel. So we're going to go ahead and transform the selection. Oh, one thing you'll notice when I was transforming that, I was holding shift so it doesn't distort it at all. You want to keep the proportions the same, like when you're doing that. Alright, so now, that looks alright, but the color scheme of these bricks doesn't really match face. Here we've got these like cooler colors in like her eyelids and her hair, and her face even kind of has like this cool tone to it. So this, with the warmer color scheme, I'm going to go ahead and alter. So we're going to go up to image adjustments, then hue and saturation. Not going to hit colorize. This is a no. Okay. Move this down to the end here. Then we're going to want to try to match this color over here. So find kind of what the base is of it. And it is a purplish blue color. Alright, and then we're going to lower the saturation a little bit. Okay, and then we're actually going to darken it. Okay, then go back, tweak the color a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, I think, I don't know. Alright. Yes, yes. Okay, I'm liking that. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice now this all kind of like flows together more. Looks like it belongs together just a little bit better. Now we want to like give her a presence against the wall. So what we're going to do is go to blending options and drop shadow. And you look at that, well, that doesn't fucking look right. Because you look at the light, and just based on the shadows on her hair and everything, you can figure it out that the lighting is kind of coming this way, like right across her nose. So to reflect that, we're going to go into the drop shadow thing and set the angle to where we think the lighting is. Okay, that's a little better. And then we need to set it to the right distance because she is farther away from the wall, like that. And then we're going to blur it just a little bit so you can't tell that it's inaccurate. Alright, so I think that's about right. Go ahead and set that. Alright, so now it looks like she's actually like with the wall a little bit. Now we need to put our lighting on the wall because the lighting's not just going to affect her, it's going to affect the wall also. So I'm going to come back down to our wall layer, create a new layer. Okay, do that, and then I am going to pick the gradient tool, just hold down the paint bucket tool, and yes. Okay, so you want the black and white gradient, you want to set it to circle, and just a quick test, okay. You want to make sure that the light part is coming from the center, so I had to reverse it. Sometimes you'll, just play around with that, figure out where the light's coming from. And then we're going to put it at the top here, and then just drag it right down in the corner, okay. And now it's completely solid. Don't worry about that. I'm going to set it to overlay, and we drop. That looks pretty good, actually. Just leave that 100% if you're following exactly along. One of my suggestions would be don't follow exactly what I'm doing because that's how you actually learn stuff. So try to do something different from what I'm doing. But yeah, so we're going to now go to our burn tool right here. Get like one of these fuzzy brushes, make it pretty big. And now we're just going to exaggerate the shadows down here. Like that. Just run over it just a couple times. What this does is give a good contrast, make the light like just a lot more obvious. Okay, so we're getting pretty good. Now we're going to come up to our top, create a new layer. Okay, and come up to our brushes. Gonna make a big fuzzy brush like this, set it pretty big, set it to white, and just kind of touch it in there. Just play around with it a little bit until you get into the position that you want. Okay, so you got that. Gotta lower the opacity just a little bit so it's not like too overwhelming. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is come down to this little like half black, half white circle and click that, and then you go to gradient map. And, oops, hit the drop down menu, go to black and white, and then you're going to set to luminosity down here at the bottom. What that does is it just sharpens all of the light, makes it that much more realistic. You see without it, and then with it. It just makes it like that much better. So now you'll notice that once we have our light set, we do have a few issues that cropped up. Down here at the chin in particular, you've got a little bit of, I don't know. You've got pixels from the render that are kind of showing. So we're going to go ahead and address those. We're going to set to the burn tool. And a shortcut for resizing your brushes, just hit the bracket key and it'll resize it. So we're just going to run it. Oops. Make sure you have your render selected. Just got to kind of hit it a couple times down there. You'll notice it just makes that white edge go right away. So while we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and sharpen some of the shadows. Because if you haven't caught onto it, contrast is a big deal with this. So the more contrast you have, the better it looks, I think. It's just personal preference, but yeah. Alright, So now that we have our render and everything in place, we're going to go ahead and start with our brushwork. So creating a new layer, go to this, and now we need to decide what colors we're going to use. I'm actually going to use 3 colors, one being this kind of like magenta color you see under her eye here, and then the blue of her hair, and then I'm going to pull in white because I want my name to be in white, and a good rule of thumb is anytime you have a certain color, you want to repeat it. So keeping that in mind, that's where I'm going to incorporate the white. Alright, so we go to our brushes, and I think these are some brushes I found at Brush Easy. Not entirely sure. So we're going to choose these. They're kind of like these little swirl things. I find these brushes are really good for just working into... totally lost my train of thought there. But yeah, they're good for kind of like weaving around renders and all that good stuff. So what I did here is I chose this color, and then I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. I actually want to set it to kind of a dark tone, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But yeah, so we've got this new layer here. Just plop it right in the center. Make sure it's not cut off anywhere. And then you're going to hit Control T and transform it. Okay, now we're going to rotate it down a little bit. And just like that. Okay. Go ahead and enter. Now we're going to zoom in, and we're going to doctor our brush a little bit. Remember, you never have to like stay with what the brush originally is, as long as you can kind of work into it a little bit. So what I'm doing here is I'm erasing this little swirl because I don't like the way that it comes into her mouth like that. I think it just doesn't look right. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and then make my brush a little smaller to take care of that. Oops. Okay. Alright. So that looks pretty good. You would never have known that the little swirl thing was right there. And what this does is it kind of just like frames in your render right here, which is good. Alright, and then we're going to make a new layer. We're going to add some more red into it because just, you know, one little spot of it needs to be repeated. So we'll go ahead and choose another brush. Just kind of flip through and find what you like, find what will go well with what we already have established there. I want something that's kind of going to do... it's not bad. What I want is something that'll kind of like come up and go into this part of the image where it's just black, there's not really a whole lot going on. That's like a prime spot to add in a little something. I think I'm going to throw this guy in here. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, and then I want one more in this top right corner, just to kind of make your eye move from not just this area, but like up here also. So I'm just going to put in this one that kind of drops in like that. Alright, and now we're going to switch to the bluish color. Go ahead and pull that, and again I'm going to darken it a little bit. Okay, and pick that, just, oops. So just kind of throw it over what you have there. Make sure they kind of flow well together. Don't have like too much conflicting action going on. Okay, and let's get another one dropping down from that corner. Let's see here. Alright, should be good. And finally, we're going to add our white. Let's make sure I didn't do something. Oh, I did. Alright, so you want to keep each color on a different layer. That's one thing that I messed up on. So go ahead and throw this guy back in here. Oops. Oh, I do this all the time. I always screw something up, have to take like 10 steps back. Alright. throw that in, and what guy did I use? It's a little over the top. Okay. And now for our white. Creating a new layer. Let's see. This will be perfect. Okay. So, let's see here. Just need one more to come around the top. Okay. And we'll throw one down at the bottom. Alright, now I'm actually going to hide these and go to my burn tool again. Alright. Oops, I have no idea what I just did. Okay. So, coming back to my brush layer, what I'm going to do is kind of just echo where the light is going with this. So, hit the dark areas that you would expect to be dark, you know. Kind of like that. Okay, come up to this one. And this guy right here. Okay, so you can see it's already adding like a lot more depth and more interest to the brush. It's good, it's what we want. Alright, and now we're going to add our blue. Do the same thing, just burn it in the areas that should be dark. And it's already a pretty dark color, so yeah, you're not going to really see this part too much at first. It will come back in later. Alright, and we're not going to worry about the white for now, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to come to the dodge tool and maybe scale that brush down a little bit. Okay, and going back to our pinkish, magenta, whatever you want to call it. Oops. That layer. Alright, we're going to create some highlights here. Alright. And coming up to this one, same thing. Alright. And then we're going to do that to our blue layer now. Alright, where else should I do it? There we go. Okay. And now for the white layer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of flip through our little property thing and get to this, which it adds this really cool effect where you know, it highlights on certain parts and just fades away on others. It's a kind of neat effect there. And let's see, I think we are now ready to add our text. So I'm going to create a new layer. Alright, so what I have is this font called Hurricane I got from the font. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in. I want it to be white, like I already planned. Okay. Let's see. I'll go ahead and move this little white layer up a little bit. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to reposition that kind of under her tongue a little bit, over her tongue, and give this a drop shadow now, because we want it to have a presence against the wall. Okay, and you'll notice that also makes it stand out a little bit from all this, from like the lighting effects, because you notice it kind of faded away there a little bit. So we're also going to give it a little distance from the wall. It a little bit to match our render. Okay. And alright. So that's looking pretty good. What we're going to do now is actually, hold on, move that back down. throw in another gradient map. So we're going to set to black and white again, like that. And then we're just going to lower the opacity. What it does is it kind of washes out the colors a little bit. You know, you don't always want to do that, but I think for this feel it has kind of like, I don't know, definitely gives it a little more masculinity. Because I realize swirls and flowers and stuff isn't exactly that. So yeah, alright. We're not done yet though. Just need to add those finishing touches, and those are really what gives the signature its character. So normally this is going to be set on normal right here. We've got the rectangular marquee tool, and style is normal. We're going to go ahead and drop it down to fixed size, and I get the option to change the width and the height. So we're going to set that to 800 pixels, which is the, you know, the width of our image, and then give it about a height of, I don't know, I'm a big fan of 8 actually. Play around with this, see what gives you like a good sized border that you like. Gonna set the mode over here to add, so you can select both parts at one time. Just kind of cuts down time. Gonna create a new layer. Okay, and set this to black. Okay, and then we're gonna switch to the paint bucket tool. Just fill these in, and then you deselect it. All right, and there we go. We have got a nice border, and you know that's pretty much our thing. I still like this one a lot better. For whatever reason, I can't seem to match it when I redo it. But that's the general idea. I hope you got something from it more than this is how you do one style. Like, you know, pull from it what you can. Not, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, don't imitate tutorials. More take a tutorial and then just modify it to like fit what you want to do, and you'll notice you get better results and you start to develop your own style. And you know, I did 100 tutorials when I was first starting, and no one ever mentioned that. It just took finding it out on my own. So hopefully that sets you guys up to be more successful in the future. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it was beneficial to an extent. Yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully this wasn't too weird. I know this is a video game channel, but if you guys are gamers like I am, where you're just constantly stalking forums and all that good stuff, then, you know, signature definitely comes in handy every once in a while. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.